and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here, because I know there's quite a lot of new people here. I know I said thank you in my previous video, but guys, thank you so much. I've now hit over 1.1k, which is crazy to me, so thank you so much. I hope you stick around for a long time. There will be another giveaway coming for that, because obviously I've hit over 1k now, but again, sorry, just really quickly want to say thank you again. So in today's video, we're going to be testing another new Revolution palette, or at least it is quite new anyway. I know they're continuously coming out with new palettes, but today we're going to be testing the Revolution Maxi Reloaded palette, and this is in the shade Big Love. I have my pink scrunchie in to match the palette sort of theme we're going for today. And by the way guys, please make sure you follow my Instagram, because I do actually ask a lot of questions about my YouTube channel on my Instagram, just because it's probably the best way I can communicate with you guys, and not a lot of you follow me on Twitter, so Instagram is probably the best way. And obviously if you like my makeup and makeup looks and stuff, obviously Instagram is a great way to connect with me. But yeah, make sure you're following. It's always linked in the description, and it's in my intro anyway, just so you become a bit more involved with the type of content I'll put out, and more involved in polls and questions. And I'm planning to do a Q&A at some point in the summer, so definitely make sure you follow my Instagram, because that's where I'll probably be asking for questions. Anyway, let's stop rambling. So today we're playing with the Maxi Reloaded palette. Basically, backstory. Quite a while ago they come out with these Revolution Reloaded palettes. They are only £4 and they are stunning little palettes. They have so many of them now. Really good quality for the price. If you're looking for a really cheap drugstore good quality eyeshadow palette, this is the one that you need to go for. Not particularly this shade, but just this range. They have so many different ones now. A lot of dupes for Anastasia palettes, so if you can't afford the high-end ones, definitely get your hands on one of these. These are £4, as I said, and then they've recently come out with these maxi palettes. These are currently retailing for £12 for 45 shades. This one has 15, this has 45. This is the size comparison. Obviously this palette is a whole lot bigger. This is 3 times the size of this, and you get it for 3 times the price of the original palette, obviously, which works out very fair, very good value for money. And these are only £12. I can't believe it. They have big palettes that are like £15, but this is a huge palette and it's only 12. So I know this isn't like one of their cheapest palettes like this, but you would get a lot for your money. So they have 4 different palettes for this range so far. I don't know if they plan on doing more, but at the moment there's 4. There's this one, which is the Big Love. This is just full of like beautiful pinky, orangey, purpley warm tones. And then they have a colourful matte one, which is obviously full of bright colourful colours. I could have got that one, but I mean I've got the Beauty Bay one now, so I don't really need another colourful palette. They then have a Dream Big palette, which has got a few pops of colour, but it's more like a neutrals pops of colour palette, if you know what I mean. I'll put photos of them on the screen just so you can see. And then they have a Large It Up palette, which is full of like neutrals, everyday sort of shades. So if you're not into colour, then definitely go for that one. But right, let's actually dive into this palette now, because I've been rambling on for so much. I've been rambling on for so much. I meant for so long. Okay. Right, so obviously I'm not going to sit here and swatch 45 shades, so I'm going to swatch 5 of them for you, just so you can get a bit of an idea what the pigmentation's like. As I always say, if you're new, as I always say in my videos, the arm swatches really don't matter. As long as they perform well on the eyes, then I really don't pay attention to arm swatches, but I do them anyway. So these are 5 of the shade swatch, and as you can see, very pigmented. The orange in the middle, where I'm pointing to, there you go, slightly swatched, a bit patchy, but you can't help that. Some shades just do swatch quite patchy, and then you put them on your eyes and then they look really good. So that's why I say don't pay attention. But I mean, the majority of them are super pigmented. I obviously try to swatch from each colour categories I could, but in terms of feel of them, they do feel really soft. Not super creamy, but they do feel really soft. You can tell that they're quite not hardly pressed, but they're quite firmly pressed. They're not super hardly pressed like the Rachel palette, but they are a little bit, so you know. Right, so now we've done some swatches. Obviously the main fun part of this video is me actually testing this out. So I think we're gonna have to go for a pink look today, considering I've got a pink scrunchie in, and that's pretty much the only sort of look you can do. You could do purple, you could do an orange, you could do a bit of a brown. There's a couple of brownie neutrals in there, but I think we should just go all out and go for the pink, stay on theme. Haven't done a pink look in a while, I don't think. Probably since, well, to be fair, my Rachel one was quite pinky, but anyway. So let's start the actual eye look. I'm going to zoom you in. I'm going to take the baby pink at the bottom right hand corner, and I'm going to put that in my crease. I don't have a mirror. Oh my god, I love pink. It's just my favourite colour ever. Right, next I'm going to take a slightly darker pink. It's right next to the orange that I swatched. And I'm just going to build that crease up even more. And I'm just taking a sort of semi-clean brush, and I'm just going to blend those top edges out, just so it doesn't look harsh. I'm going to take the dark pink in the palette, and I'm going to just put that on the outer corners, and I'm going to deepen this up with another shade, but I just want to put that colour down, just so it has something to build up on. So you see it's instantly made that a little bit darker. And now I'm going to take a brownie sort of shade. It's like a terracotta sort of shade, like a really brownie sort of orange. And I'm going to put that in the outer corner as well to now just deepen that up a little bit more. And now I'm going to take a cool toned brown in the palette and just deepen that up even more, just so it adds to the depth of the outer corner, because I don't want it to look too flat. I'm literally taking like the smallest amount and building it up, and then sort of blending it in with the other shades. And then always drop the brush, but it's a surprise. And then I'm always constantly going back in with my blending brush and just blending out the edges so it does not look too harsh. Some people like harsh looks, but I just prefer the blended sort of look. So this is what we've got going on so far, and now we need to put a shimmery shade on the first half of my lid, where the gap is basically. So what am I gonna take? Oh, I don't know. Ooh. So now we're gonna take the baby pink sort of shimmer to start off with, just because I want to know how pigmented and stuff it is. I'm gonna go in with it dry first, and if it's too dry and not pigmented, I will obviously wet it. Okay, to be fair, that shade was pretty pigmented dry, but I did just want to go with it wet just to see how pigmented I could get it. And if you prefer a more like popping shimmer, then definitely wet it. but if you don't want to wet it, it's perfectly good enough dry. It doesn't need to be wet. So now I just need to go back in with my original brush and just blend out those edges where the pink meets where the shimmer meets the matte, just so it doesn't look too harsh. So for my lower lash line, I'm taking, it's quite a reddy toned pink, and put it in my lower lash line. And obviously we need to put a shade in the inner corner on brow bone. I actually remembered today. So we're going to take this sort of pale neutral sort of shimmer. It's quite a silvery toned shimmer. So I thought it was silver, but I think it's more of a pink sort of reflect. Is it a little bit? I mean, it looks like it, but I don't know. Anyway, so I've done the eye look now. I've used as much shadows as I possibly can with a £45 eyeshadow palette. So now I'm going to go put on some mascara, and then I'll be right back. So guys, I'm back. I've just put on mascara. I obviously used the Revolution mascara, and the lipstick I've got on is the Revolution lip liner in Vow and the Soft Cake lipstick. Let me just come forward and show you my eye look. So guys, I've just done the look, and now I'm going to give you my final thoughts and opinions on the Revolution Maxi Reloaded Palette in Big Big Love. Where do I even start? So I obviously didn't use all 45 shades, but from the shades that I used, the mattes were extremely pigmented. The thing is with pinks is they're quite a hard shade to make, like reds. Especially I find in the drugstore pinks are really hard to make. These, as I think I've said before in another video, these pinks are not as good as high end. But for drugstore, they are so good. They just require maybe 1 or 2 layers of building on top, and then you have a really pigmented shadow. To be fair, I didn't really have that many problems with this palette. But all I know is drugstore pink eyeshadows, for me so far, that I've personally used, are not as good as high end. But if you are on a budget and you want a pigmented, good enough palette to do pink looks, then I think this is a great option. The shimmers are nice. The shimmer that I used on my lid, this sort of shade here, was so pigmented. Like, I used it dry and it looked nice and shimmery. As soon as I went in with just a spray, it just made it so much better and intensified it. So I would recommend spritzing your shadows before you put them on, the shimmer shadows, not the mattes, to make them more pigmented. This shimmer here, the lighter one, I did find difficulty with it just because it just wasn't going on so smoothly. I don't know if that's the brush, because when I swatch it, it's not actually too bad, and when I did a like one swipe, it did swatch quite nicely. So I don't know if that was the brush I was using, but I just did find it a little bit difficult. It was a bit, not patchy, but it was like it was sticking to certain parts of like my eye. I've just swatched this and it looks like it's going to be a duochrome. But I've swatched it and it's just really dry on my finger. I don't know if you can see that. And it's really sort of crumbly. I don't think you can see that. So I think certain shimmers in the palettes, I think the super sparkly ones are really pigmented. Ones that have got like a nice sheen to them are not as pigmented, and they do swatch a bit crumbly. But guys, £12 for 45 shades. Like, I can't really sit here and complain about it. That is so cheap for this palette, and I'm not being funny, but this is really beautiful. You can obviously create so many different warm tone looks, not just pinks, there's purples, there's neutral shades, there's brown shades, orange, there's even this pop of yellow in here as well. So guys, I really actually like this palette. I say this in like pretty much every video. I was a bit disappointed with the Rachel one. Like, go and see that video if you want to know why. But I do see a similarity in the formula in this with the Rachel one. I think the problem again is the hardly pressed thing. But then again, other Revolution palettes are absolutely a bomb, so I'm not really too sure what's going on. So overall, do I recommend this palette? Yes, I do. For £12, that is a bargain, and you get 45 shades. They do other shade selections as well, so if you're not into your pinks, don't worry, there is 3 other styles to choose from, and I guarantee you they'll come out with more anyway in the future. So that's it for this video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give this a massive thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe down below and join my little family, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.